Welcome to UK Precision Hand Loading. In this two-part video I'm going to take you through my own methods for turning virgin Lapua 6mm brass into finished 22BR bench rest quality hand loads. Now this is the completed bench rest quality 22BR hand load, and this is the virgin 6mm Lapua brass that we shall be forming into the 22BR. Now, in order to form the 22BR case, it needs to be pushed up a neck sizing die. Now this will reduce the neck diameter to take a 224 caliber bullet. Now this is the die that we should be doing that operation with. This is a homemade neck sizing die, and this will take the neck down to take a 224 diameter bullet. It will not size the body of the case, only the neck. Okay, now I've installed the neck sizing die into the press, and we shall now neck size the 6mm cases. But what we're going to do first, we're actually going to lubricate the necks with a little bit of this imperial sizing die wax. And all we do is take a little bit between your thumb and forefinger and just twist it round the actual necks like so. And that's all that's needed. Now, as you can see, the case has been sized, just actually smaller than what the internal diameter of the neck is, actually smaller than what it will be needed to take a 224 diameter bullet. And if you compare it to the 6mm parent brass, you can see the difference there. The chamber in the rifle for which we are hand loading these cartridges has a neck diameter of 0.253 of an inch, and what this means is that the neck down brass will have to be neck turned. So the next stage before we neck turn will be expanding the internal diameter of the neck to suit the K&M neck turning tool. To do this, we use a tool called an expandiron. This is the expandiron. The mandrel here expands the ID of the case neck very slightly larger than that of the mandrel on the case neck turning tool. Now I'll set the expandiron up in the press, and we shall now expand the case necks. The mandrel of the expandiron has already been charged with a little bit of the sizing die wax to lubricate the inside of the neck as the neck travels over the mandrel. The ID of the neck is now the correct diameter to fit on the mandrel of the neck turning tool. Here we have the K&M neck turning tool, and here is the KMN neck turning tool case holder and handle. Going back to the actual case neck turning tool, the mandrel, which is this part here, is actually a carbide mandrel and has an incorporated donut cutter on the tip, as you might be able to see there. This cuts away any donuts that can be formed on the necking down of the case. The mandrel itself moves in and out of the body of the tool and can be set to the correct depths so that the cutter just starts to cut into the neck shoulder junction of the case. The cutter itself is adjusted to take whatever cut you want by this hexagonal nut on the top. What I shall do now, I shall set up the case neck turning tool and the shell holder, which I shall put into my cordless drill, and show you my own method that I like to use for neck turning. Right, I've now mounted the neck turning tool in a vise. That's just the way I like to hold it, and as you can see, the case is being held by the case holder mounted into the cordless drill. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put a little bit of lube on the mandrel and then I'm going to turn the neck. Now I'm just going to slide the mouth of the case over the cutter and then start turning, and I shall push it in until it reaches the stop. Here we go. Nice slow feed. There we go, just come up to the stop and a nice equally slow feed on the way out. There you go, and that gives you a really nice looking finish on the case. Look at, there we go, that is a finished neck turn case. Right, here we have the finished neck turn cases, which have been turned so that the necks are 13 thou thick, and we'll just show how we do. We measure that with a tubing micrometer. And the micrometer reads 13 thou, or for those of you who like to work in metric, 0.35 of a millimetre. So 13 and 13, so it's two wall thicknesses plus a bullet thickness, sorry, diameter. So you have 13 and 13, which is 26. So 26 thou plus 224 makes a finish loaded round diameter when the bullet is seated of 0.250 of an inch, giving 1.5 thou of clearance either side of the neck in the chamber, which, as we said previously, is 0.253 of an inch. Right, these cases now need to be deburred, and to do that, for the outside, once again, my trusty cordless drill with the RCBS outside chamfering tool. There you go. Those are now chamfered on the outside. Now, for the inside, we have here a K&M 17 degree internal chamfer tool. This is actually developed for seating VLD bullets, but it's the one I use, and it's the one I use for all my internal chamfering, regardless of what type of bullet I'm using, be it a flat base or a VLD. Very simple operation. Put it in, give it a few twists, and it's done. go, that's now nicely deburred on the inside. Right, now we come to trimming to a fixed overall length. Now, to be totally honest, if you trim your cases now, you are going to have to do it again, simply because on the first firing the actual case neck is going to expand and flow forward, and the trim length that you had trimmed to will be surpassed and will have to be trimmed back again. So there really is no point in carrying out trimming to overall length at this stage. Also, let's talk about primer pocket uniforming. Now this is an operation that I also don't carry out during initial case preparation. Now I've found through loading hundreds and thousands of rounds of ammunition that to uniform the primer pocket now really doesn't have much effect on the actual uniformity of the primer pocket, simply because on the next reload I also found that you can still remove material from the primer pocket with the primer pocket uniforming tool, and the same goes again for the third reload. However, after the third reload I did find that the primer pocket seems to settle down, and using the primer pocket uniforming tool for a fourth time didn't remove any material. So I don't actually use the primer pocket uniforming tool until the fourth reloading cycle. But there is one more operation we need to do, and that is deburring the flash hole. Now to do that, we have here a dedicated PPC and BR flash hole deburring tool, again made by K&M Services. The reason why it is specifically for PPC and BR is because of the size of the flash hole. The flash hole in a PPC and a BR case is actually smaller than the flash holes on standard cases, and hence there is a cutter in the end which measures 62.5 thou. Now what this does when you use this tool, it doesn't actually remove any material at all from the flash hole, yet it will still trim away the burr. So we need to locate the cutter into the flash hole, push down the stop and the guide into the front of the case, and then twist, holding the cutter into the flash hole against the stop, and then twist till you feel the burr being cut away. There you go. Tap out the swarf. Once again, pick up the flash hole. Sometimes a little bit tricky to do. There we go. And twist. Again, tap out the swarf. And here we go again. There we go. Turn that. That's the burr off there again. And once again, tap out the swarf. Okay, these three cases now are ready for the actual load process, which I will go through in part 2 of this short series of videos. So for now, thank you very much for watching,